Your voices, your stories. Complete coverage from across the Bay Area. ABC Action News starts now.
Right now on ABC Action News.
4 months, nothing's happened. I said, how long does it take to build one of these things?
Money paid for products never delivered.
We pay cash, they got our money, and that just totally frustrating.
Families billed for more than they owed.
Why are you not giving me our money back? You owe it to us.
Consumers fed up.
I found it very frustrating trying to resolve it, which is why I called you.
Tonight, we're taking action for you.
Susan, that's why I contacted you. I needed your help.
Getting you answers and money back.
Well, I'm glad that you all were able to help me.
They seem to be bending over backwards to make it right now.
Hello, and welcome to a special edition of ABC Action News. I'm consumer investigator Susan El Khoury. Over the last few months, I've heard from so many of you frustrated with overcharges from doctors' offices and utility companies, contractors not completing work that's been paid for, even a stolen identity, just to name a few. And we've been able to get you answers and results. Here at ABC Action News, we're dedicated to taking action for you. And tonight, we're highlighting some of those stories. One patient reached out to me about a medical bill. He told me a local clinic overcharged his family, and even after 8 months, he couldn't get his money back. I talked to his doctor about why patients who get overbilled may have trouble getting a refund. One of the perks of retirement,
Grab Mirage to go fishing.
James Baxter can do what he wants,
One grouper rod ready to go.
whenever he wants.
That's a Penn Squall reel.
Lately, he's tied up inside.
And I'm like, wait a minute, this is just so wrong.
His catch, charges from a radiology clinic that overbilled him.
Why are you not giving me our money back? You owe it to us, just pay us.
That you he's talking about is Excel Medical Imaging in Newport Richey. Last May, his wife went there for a couple CT scans. They're covered by insurance. The day of, Excel gave her this bill.
And she paid $334 and change up front.
Weeks later, his insurance sent the explanation of benefits, showing Baxter's out-of-pocket cost should only have been around $150.
I said, that doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong. You actually owe us money.
Baxter said he called the clinic where staff agreed he overpaid and they'd mail a refund.
And I said, okay, great, when can I get that? She told me 60 to 90 days. And I asked why so long, and she said, that's our company policy.
90 days went by with no check. Baxter kept calling, asking for what he's owed down to the penny.
$187.78 exactly.
So we're not talking a massive amount of money here.
Oh no, we're not talking hundreds, thousands, millions, no.
What he says is too much is the time it's taking. It's been 8 months.
And I still haven't gotten a penny back or even a reasonable explanation. So Susan, that's why I contacted you. I needed your help.
I've taken a Hippocratic oath, to do no harm.
We sat down with Excel's owner, Dr. Deepak Das. If you're the patient and you're waiting 8 months for a refund, are you losing your patients?
And I feel for the patients.
Like many clinics, Excel has a third-party billing company.
The x-ray comes up from below and hits the detector over here.
Das says they switched companies last year, in part because of delays, but he also believes the entire process has too much red tape.
It's the clearinghouses, the billing companies, the insurance companies. Those are things that we have no control over. It's just in the wind.
What's more, he says billing companies get paid in a commission style, so refunds affect their bottom line.
The entire systemic process that we have for it is not geared for the patient's financial well-being. It's just not.
Within a couple days of us reaching out, Excel refunded Baxter's credit card.
That rod and reel has caught a lot of grouper.
Back to what he wants to do, but still questioning why one check was so hard to reel in.
I believe there's some problems with your accounting departments.
Florida law protects insurance companies from overpayments. When they're overbilled, they have to get paid back within 6 months. But the law doesn't mention when patients are overbilled. If you're having a problem like this, Florida's Agency for Healthcare Administration can help investigate those claims. Driving through neighborhoods across Tampa Bay, you'll see plenty of homes with solar panels. Many homeowners are paying for these systems, hoping to save on electric bills. But one woman called me saying that instead of saving, she's paying double.
Well, I thought I'd save money. Well, I'm not. It's supposed to be more.
You actually paid more on the electric.
Yeah, because it's not working.
Here's how I got her answers. There's an undeniable feeling
And that was him before we got married.
of stepping back in time.
There was my wedding picture.
Maybe it's the portrait of her late husband,
He retired from the Coast Guard.
or the CD and VCR players.
I don't have any internet.
It could be the wedding present
So I've had it for 53 years.
that still gets a lot of use.
This one I have trouble getting the speeder in.
Whatever it is, Barbara Kopp's house has that feeling of the past. It's been running this whole time,
Right, I wish everything else was as good as that.
but it's the new additions
There's 16 of total.
that are giving her the hardest time.
The system doesn't work, why should I be paying for it?
It all started last year with a knock on 88-year-old Kopp's door.
I said, I'm not interested in buying any solar system. Oh, you're not buying it, it's a lease.
Kopp says a salesperson sold her on a solar system with the company SunNova. How did you make this decision to put in a solar system?
Well, I thought I'd save money.
The contract Kopp signed says she'll pay more than $47,000 over 25 years. Her monthly payments started at around $100.
Well, as soon as I got my electric bill, I knew that wasn't right.
She says the system was up, but her electric bills didn't drop.
There's the Florida Power and Light bill.
Kopp showed us account statements like this one in January, where she paid $140 for electricity, while SunNova charged its $100. That's when she called the company for service.
Too many people I was in line. They would get to me when they could. So here they are 3 months after.
While we were at her house, a repairman for SunNova showed up to check the system.
Well, I asked him, why is this system go out like this? And why am I being charged? He didn't have answers.
We reached out to the company. They didn't want to answer our questions on camera, but emailed a timeline of service history. It showed multiple times when the system didn't work. As a consumer, do you have any rights?
You should. It all depends on what's in your contract. So that fine print's going to basically make or break your case.
Attorney Bryant Donovan isn't working with Kopp, but he represents a lot of solar customers.
Florida, if you sign a contract, you're charged with having read it. That's Florida law. If you're being told this system is going to, totally eliminate your electrical bill, and you're not seeing those types of guarantees, that would be a red flag.
He says before signing a deal, customers should check the warranty.
There's a lot of contracts that provide exhaustive warranties. In other companies' contracts, they won't be there. They don't have any warranty about workmanship or the life of the system.
We checked Kopp's contract. The warranty says repairs will be made if the problem falls on the company. It doesn't mention paying for any electricity that was used. My name is Susan. After we called, a spokesperson said the panels were fixed and they'd give Kopp a $300 credit.
And who says it's not going to happen off and on for the next 10 years?
Kopp still has reservations, but nothing can change the past.
I'd just like to get out of this contract.
Before signing a contract for a solar system, you should check it for disclaimers. Lawyers say be cautious of disclaimers, saying you're not relying on what you were told. Companies can use that to say they're not responsible for anything a salesperson told you. A family displaced from last year's hurricanes also lost their temporary home after just a few days. Still ahead, I'll show you how we got them results. Many families across Tampa Bay are still trying to recover from last year's hurricanes. One family reached out to us saying their house flooded from the storms and then they lost their temporary home when they bought a new camper but only had it for a few days. So after months of waiting, they asked me for help and I got them answers straight from the RV dealer.
This is what it does to these kind of drawers.
Making do.
It just corrodes and they don't work.
Coping.
That's the water line.
Getting by.
It looks pretty rustic in here.
They were ripping it down and replacing it.
It doesn't matter how you say it. Lynn and Alan Saylor are managing what they have. Ever since Hurricane Helene surged through their St. Petersburg home.
We got 9 inches inside.
Wiping out what they spent their lives building. Do you want to be living
No,
like this?
No.
Living in a flood-damaged home was far from their first choice.
This is the actual floor plan
Yep,
for
this
it.
is the actual camper and floor plan.
Last November, the Saylors bought a new camper from Camping World for $30,000.
So we pay cash, they got our money, and that just totally frustrated.
They planned to park it in the driveway until their home was fixed.
Had the sewer line hooked up. This is our extra drain hose.
Now they have plenty of gear.
This is the 30 amp circuit we have put in,
All that's missing is the camper.
which was here for 6 days, but is not there anymore. We had it delivered and we started checking everything out, and within like a day we realized the water heater doesn't work.
Since then, it's been parked at Camping World in Pinellas Park.
Can't fix it, replace it. You know, what's the big deal?
What they thought would take days turned into months.
4 months, nothing's happened. I said, how long does it take to build one of these things?
The Saylors say they keep trying to get answers
This is the letter that I wrote.
without success.
Did not think minor repairs on a brand new camper would take longer than settling with flood insurance.
Camping World didn't answer us. I'm a reporter at ABC Action News until we contacted the CEO. The same day, he said he was looking into the Saylors' case. As far as exactly why the camper was parked at the service center for so long, Camping World won't talk about that. But I did speak with a company exec on the phone who apologized and said it shouldn't have taken so long. And also, the same exact day as that phone call, said the camper was fixed.
They've seem to be bending over backwards to make it right now.
The Saylors are working with Camping World and hope to reach a confidential settlement.
We're very grateful for your involvement with this, Susan, because without that, we'd probably still be sitting here stewing, maybe going to an attorney.
Did they ever tell you what was taking so long or what caused the delays here?
Well, there was a lot of issues. I think one of them to blame the manufacturer was a lot of case of he did it type thing.
Yeah, the wiring was all messed up.
We reached out to the manufacturer. They never responded. Florida has a lemon law that extends to RVs, but it only applies to vehicle parts like the tires and engine. It doesn't cover the living area.
If you get one, check it out thoroughly.
Now sharing the advice they wish they knew.
Turn the hot water on and make sure it comes out warm. Check all your outlets, check all your windows, every little thing.
Another way they're making the most of what life sends their way.
Drain hose. So we were ready to take care of it.
A woman gets a delivery that's supposed to help her walk and instead leaves her sidelined. Still ahead, I'll show you the medical device mix-up and how we got her a solution. We've all heard of following the doctor's orders, but one of our viewers reached out to me saying that wasn't possible. A medical supply company was supposed to deliver gear to help her walk. Instead, the delivery left her sidelined.
Okay, I'll just walk.
If you make a list
I don't like being inside.
of everything you should know about Elizabeth Anderson,
Usually I go the rest of this block and the next block.
maybe start with her determination.
Well, that's what you can do with a walker.
Now that she's turned 92,
Your balance is just miserable.
some parts of her aren't keeping up the pace.
Any little crack or any little bump will just knock me over.
Recently, her doctor recommended she switch to what's called an upright walker.
I wanted to try that to try to straighten up more.
This is where Airlife Medical comes into the picture. The Auburndale-based medical supply company provided the new walker. Medicare paid for part. Anderson covered the balance of $125.
They knew how tall I was, or they had 5 feet.
What showed up,
Clearly, there's a size difference here.
she considers a reach.
I can't even I don't know why they really even ever sent it.
Anderson says the company's delivery driver recognized that.
If it's not suitable, if you can't use it, we'll exchange it.
But she says a couple days later on the phone with Airlife, things changed.
They just said, well, that's too bad. You've paid for it, it's yours.
When we called, the owner told us this was the first he'd heard of it. Within hours, he said he ordered a smaller walker at no additional cost. While he didn't want to go on camera, he called this a miscommunication and said Airlife lives up to the promise on its website. We do everything in our power to make sure patients are happy and they stay that way. While Anderson waits for the day she can stand tall.
For someone who's 6 feet tall, it probably is just right. But I like about 12 inches.
She's refusing to let any shortcomings stop her.
If Medicare covers equipment, I'm certain Medicare expects it to be usable.
Medicare will investigate complaints with what they call durable medical equipment. That includes walkers. They also require suppliers to take complaints from patients and then respond to them within 5 days. Imagine finding out your credit is at risk, all for something you never signed up for. Still ahead, the story of one man whose identity was stolen, leaving him with a bill he didn't deserve. Imagine having your credit score in jeopardy, all for something you never signed up for. A man from Tarpon Springs called us after someone stole his identity and left him with the bill.
Anything can happen, yes. To keep hitting stone walls, trying to resolve the matter, that's not consumer friendly.
I got in touch with Verizon and was able to get him results. From the moment you step inside,
That was the premier trap shoot in the country.
it's hard to miss all the trophies around Mike Batista's house.
Southern Grand Doubles Class A runner-up.
Proof he's got good aim.
Year 2000, I was the Florida champion.
But lately, the target he set his sights on has left him struggling.
Someone's using my name to get a phone. I found it very frustrating trying to resolve it, which is why I called you.
On a recent trip to the mailbox, Batista found this bill. It's for a new phone line at Verizon. The only problem? He uses AT&T. This was your name,
Yes.
your address,
Yes.
your information,
Yes.
and you got the bill, but you never opened an account.
No, and they got the phone.
These days, getting around isn't as easy for Batista.
I'm almost 80.
He lost both his legs to diabetes complications. But since he needed answers, he went to the Verizon store near his Tarpon Springs house.
They said that they couldn't do anything. I had to go to a corporate store.
That's how he ended up here at a second Verizon store. But he says when he went to close the account, he was told no, so he had to pull out his phone to file a fraud claim.
Called the police, called the county, made out a police report, submitted all the information that Verizon fraud wanted.
He saved the response from Verizon.
We are unable to substantiate your claim that this account was opened without your knowledge or consent.
The Pinellas County Office of Consumer Protection is well versed on identity theft cases.
Definitely whatever information has been compromised, you want to notify that agency or company.
You should also go to the 3 credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, to put fraud alerts and a freeze on your accounts.
And it just takes a few minutes to request to freeze your credit report. And then if you decide that you need to open new credit yourself, then you can unfreeze it.
In Batista's case,
I was in law enforcement for 28 years.
He says he put a preemptive freeze on his credit to protect himself from this kind of problem.
TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, all my credit ratings, they're all frozen. You cannot open an account in my name.
When you're the victim of identity theft and you report it to that company, does the company have any responsibility to you?
Unfortunately, with identity theft, it could be ongoing.
We contacted Verizon. A spokesperson turned down an interview, but said they reached a satisfactory resolution.
You contacted Verizon, and the very next day I got an email saying, surprise, the matter has been resolved. I'm glad that you all were able to help me.
Batista now sharing his advice after seeing what it took to hit his mark.
If something doesn't seem right, mention it to somebody. Never surrender.
There are several ways you can help protect yourself from identity theft. Don't share personal information like your bank account number over the phone, text message, or email with anyone you don't know. Bring in your mail every day, and if you're going to be out of town, put a hold on it. If you're throwing away documents with sensitive information, shred them first. I'm committed to taking action for you. If you have an issue you'd like me to look into, like work paid for and never done, a doctor's office overcharging you for a visit, or fraudulent charges in your name, pull out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen to get in touch with me, and I'll follow up. That's it for this special edition of ABC Action News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Susan El Khoury.